the big scandal of the Senate that we just discussed, John Fetterman's dress code, got all of the media headlines this week. But there's an actual scandal going on in the Senate with Senator Menendez, senator from Democrat senator from New Jersey. He's been in Congress a long time now. He was actually brought up on bribery charges back in 2017 and basically got a hung jury and got off on a technicality. But then after that is when he really, apparently, allegedly, started going ham with the bribery. And what happened is there was a federal investigation along with a New York investigation into this. And they found over $500,000 or almost $500,000 worth of cash and just, we don't know exactly how much, just literal bars of gold in his house that they had fingerprints of. I think there was 4 different co-conspirators in this, being businessmen from the Jersey area that he was from, as well as the country of Egypt was also involved in this. So there was multiple allegations within this indictment. It wasn't just one thing that he got caught on. It was multiple things. One of them was the Egyptian government bribing him to get reduced sanctions in Egypt, get more federal aid from America to go to Egypt. There was also another, it was a halal food distributor, and he used his power to basically give a monopoly to this one halal food inspector that inspects to make sure it's kosher, or it was specifically Islamic, which I don't think is kosher. I don't know the exact wording, but I think you guys all understand what I'm talking about here. But the company that they gave the monopoly power to had never done it before, and was just buddies with Menendez. And it's essentially the Department of Agriculture was like, hey, this is just going to make food more expensive. Why are we doing this? And he got that shut down, and gave that monopoly control, which gave the government of Egypt more money too. So there was also something about he got basically got a buddy of his off of a trial because he got the district attorney changed to that was more sympathetic. There was so many things in this indictment that it's impossible to even cover them all in this segment. But that's essentially what happened. It is just a litany. He's from North Jersey. The Sopranos and shit is basically what was going on here,
You woke up this morning, got yourself a gun. Your mama always said you'd be the chosen one. She said, 1 in a million, you got to shine. You were born under a bad sun with a blue moon in your eye.
And he got caught with it. And my favorite part of all of this is that my first thing was I read a headline saying John Fetterman was first Democrat senator to call for him to resign.
Oh,
and I was like, oh, that's interesting. But that was what the headline said. But what the headline should have said was first senator. He was the first senator. The Republican senators hadn't called for him to resign before John Fetterman did.
wow.
And it's while they are blowing their wads over John Fetterman disrespecting the Senate and by wearing sweatshirts, he's the only one who called for the bribe the politician to resign. And I thought it said a little bit about Republicans will call for the resignation of a Democrat over looking the wrong way at a school. But how complicit must they be? I know I said this before about the Supreme Court not calling out all of the scandals there, but how come they must all be doing bribery like this if they're not all calling for his resignation? That was my biggest takeaway of all of this. But what do you think, DJ?
So no Republican senator to this day has called for his resignation.
Okay, is that
Zero.
true? Because literally, I've been trying to research this.
Not one.
That's
not one.
Insane.
And I remember they were asking someone, it was Josh Hawley, and he's like, well, he deserves his day in court. He's innocent until proven guilty. Now, what I think it really is that they're kind of caught in a rock and a hard place situation because the Department of Justice is evil and they're coming after Trump. So like, but they never cared about hypocrisy before, so it's kind of weird. Like, why not? But yeah, they are staying very far away from this because generally they'll jump on top of anything a Democrat does wrong. But so listen, I love this story. I love it so much for a million reasons. The primary reason I love it is that in Congress, in the Senate or whatever, following like the rules for bribery and ethics, it's not an ethics test. It is an IQ test because it is easy as hell to be bribed. In fact, our entire system is built on legalized bribery. It is very, like, you have to really go out of your way to be sloppy and lazy and fantastically greedy to be caught taking bribes,
with literal gold bars.
It's so, in fact, I just thought of this just now when you mentioned that he was from New Jersey. Did you guys ever see the movie American Hustle with Christian? Oh, wait, so that was New Jersey too, right? Was that also New Jersey? I think it was. I don't remember. Or maybe it was New York, but anyway, that was the last time, and it was 1981. It was the last time an American senator was convicted of bribery. Like, it's been 40 some years since it's happened because you literally need proof that someone had an exchange for a favor for a specific dollar amount or a quid pro quo for a specific item. It is almost impossible to nail someone for that. And this guy did it multiple times. Now, John, you mentioned the fact that he was charged with corruption in 2017, got away with it. It was a mistrial, and still kept doing it. And he was so like confident in his just gaudy, ostentatious displays of ill-gotten gains. He proposed to his girlfriend 2 years later, 2019, in front of the fucking Taj Mahal. It sounds fake, like it sounds made up, but that guy is really, this disgusting.
Woo. Oh my God! Wow! Yes.
Wow! And cherry on the Sunday. Did you see his statement that came out the day he was charged? The statement he made.
Which one are you talking about? The my family's from Cuba and I just squirrel money away, gold bars.
he said that
with fingerprint envelopes of money with fingerprints of the people who are accused of bribing me. Oh, I just happened to squirrel that away in case
I know, right?
Fidel Castro tried to take it from me.
As we all do, yeah. And his family left under Batista too, not under Castro. Yeah. So it was funny. But he said that the people in the establishment, they just can't stand seeing Latino immigrants rising. I know, right? I was like, Mo, come on, man. It was just like, this guy is vile. Like, I don't care that he hasn't been convicted. This guy did it. Like, I assume whatever, he did it. We all know it's true, but it's just so cartoonish. Like, the feds don't bring, like, this is what they say, like federal prosecutions have like a 90-something% success rate because they get their ducks in a row. Like, they don't want to embarrass themselves. So they put all this work into it and they charged them before. Come on, like, what are we doing here? And the nerve to do this on Hispanic Heritage Month. Like, how dare they? It's outrageous. But I don't know. You heard anything about this, Desmond?
I've seen this story floating in the news, and obviously it actually, I think, truthfully speaking, it's almost like an indictment of where we're currently at in the country, right? Where a story can come out like this, and it's not even a primary story, not a secondary story. It's kind of just buried because that is essentially where we're at in American politics right now. No one even flinched hearing this story. Like, oh, a senator's being bribed by a foreign country and has a bunch of money that he's being paid off by. Okay. That just seems like the reaction that we're getting from most people. And truthfully, it tells me just, more or less like the darker story of where we're at, which is like money is so entrenched in our political system that all of this just seems normal at this point. And if we're ever going to get to any place of, I guess, just real transparency, within our government, we have to get money way out of politics. I'm not sure exactly how many different channels that's going to take, but the fact that, as you said, TJ, there's so many different ways you can legally bribe members of Congress. People come into Congress with basically no money, leave out multimillionaires like time over. It's honestly, it's a disgusting state. I was happy to see that Fetterman came out and called for him to resign. Cory Booker has now come out to do the same thing. But, for the most part, the fact that the Republicans aren't coming out to do this at all, when they will jump on any reason to come after a Democrat. I mean, they came after Obama for wearing a tan suit. That they will do anything to come after Democrats. The fact that they're not should tell everybody exactly like what is that's going on with them. They're scared to death that a senator could be come after for something like this because they're probably doing it too.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're definitely doing it. I mean, they're probably smarter. Yeah.
Well, let's not go that far. But
I mean you got to be pretty dumb. You got to be pretty dumb to be caught taking bribes as a senator. It's like,
but Desmond, I think you hit the nail on the head there of just like how much of this story isn't a blight on America because we had a senator take a bribe. It's a blight on America because we don't give a shit that we had a senator take a bribe. And like it is genuinely one of those things like I talk about often that like this should be a bridge issue. This should be an issue that everyone, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, should be looking at it and go, yes, we should be doing everything possible to be ensuring that the people running our government aren't taking bribes. It is the most basic, most obvious thing that we can do as a government. And it's not getting any traction. And why isn't it getting any traction? Because the people who are giving some of these bribes and getting some of these bribes are the politicians and the media who are reporting on them. Like, it's the only rational explanation because, as you said, there was a giant scandal about a fucking tan suit. Like, politicians don't, like, pull their punches when it comes to criticizing members of the opposing party, and yet the Republicans aren't calling for him to resign, even though it would be electorally, well, actually, it would be electorally advantageous to them if he, like, continued to run in 2024, because that's, like, I think there's a utilitarian argument for some Democrats to go, oh, well, we want him to, like, keep his seat so we can still, like, fulfill these different things, have a majority in the Senate. But, like, if he runs in 2024,
it's not a good argument. Yeah,
it's suddenly an open fucking seat that Republicans can. It should be slam dunk Democrat, no matter who it is. But a Republican could beat Menendez now.
The best thing the Democrats could do is force him out of that seat and have the Democrat. I assume the governor of New Jersey is Democrat, but I mean, appoint a dude. Who's
also called for him to resign, by the way.
Yeah, that would be the best option, obviously. But he doesn't have to resign. I mean, he doesn't if he wants to stick around, and it looks like he's going to. It's embarrassing, but I think that another reason it's not like catching fire is because, listen, I hate to admit it, the story is not that sexy. It's like a B level, like sexy. Like he wasn't grabbing someone's hog during a Beetlejuice performance, and so that story is wow.
He didn't die in a submarine.
Exactly. Yeah. So like
his name isn't Trump.
Well, so I was gonna bring up Trump. Now, there's even Trump stories that don't really catch fire, even though they're really important. And the example I always use is the first impeachment when they impeached Trump over the perfect phone call for withholding funds or congressionally appropriated funds to Ukraine in order to try to strong arm them into announcing a public investigation on Joe Biden. Now, the Democrats this is clearly illegal. We're going to impeach him. I said, that's stupid. That's a stupid reason to impeach Donald Trump. Now, legally, they're right. Legally, it's true. But impeachment, useless. Like almost complete for the president, at least, almost completely useless.
It has to be really bad.
It's got to be real. Well, it's got to be really bad and something that people give a shit about. Because listen, especially back then, maybe now it might have some resonance. Back then, no, that had nothing to do with anyone's material reality. That he didn't give a bunch of money to some country I can't pronounce in Eastern Europe. No one cares, and so. Like even big stories like that, it doesn't really, catch the public interest that much. And of course it fizzled out and everything. The second one, that was, that one, that January 6th, that was a big one. That was clear. But like these stories, like how much they actually matter doesn't really translate to how much they're talked about in media. And that's just because, you got to catch the eyeballs. And Bob Menendez, a senator no one's heard of, holding gold bars and stuff. Oh, that's weird and kind of fucked up, but they're not going to lose any sleep over it.